This is IELTS speaking September 2021. I have Abhishek with me, who's gonna give his speaking IELTS test.
Yes.
Okay, Abhishek, we have part 1 here, which has multiple topics with us. So let's start part 1.
Yes.
What's your full name?
My full name is Abhishek Isaac Phillips.
Once again, try it. Don't say
Abhishek.
my full name, okay? What's your full name?
My name is Abhishek Isaac Phillips.
Okay, where are you from?
I'm currently living in Ghaziabad.
Okay. Try to elaborate answer in 2 to 3 sentences.
Okay.
Where are you from?
My birthplace is Kanpur, but I'm currently living in Ghaziabad with my parents.
Okay. Do you work or you study?
No, I'm not currently working, although I'm almost finished my graduation, but I will work as soon as I have.
Right. And where do you live currently?
Currently, I live in Ghaziabad with my parents. It comes inside the Delhi NCR region.
Right. Do you like the place where you live?
I'm not very sure whether I like it or not, because it has a certain drawbacks, yes, I admit, but I could have been living in worse conditions, so I appreciate the place that I'm living in right now.
Okay. Have you ever gotten lost somewhere?
I've never been lost before actually, but there was once a time when I was very close to losing my sight of where I am, and I had struggled for around 30 minutes or so before finding my way out into the main street, and from there it was an easy way back.
Okay. Do you help others when they are lost?
Yes, although I have never felt the opportunity to help others, but if I get the opportunity, I will definitely help them.
Right. What were you feeling when you were lost?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't entirely lost.
So let me change the question for you. How would you feel when you will get lost in future?
Yeah, so if I get lost in the future, obviously it would be a very terrifying experience for me, as not knowing where you are is obviously the most painful experience, because uncertainty is what drives people crazy. So I would try to be calm, but obviously it would be really dreadful experience for me.
Great. So now we are done with the part 1. Let's move on to part 2. You will get 1 minute to make your notes on the topic that you have got. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can start making notes now. Time is up. You can stop writing now. Okay, Abhishek, you have now 2 minutes to speak on the topic that you have received, and you won't stop until I ask you to stop. Did you understand?
I understand completely.
Thank you. Now, if you're ready, you can start now.
So, about the activity that I do regularly that I would consider as a waste of time would be gaming. Even though gaming particularly is not exactly a waste of time, it helps in mental development and further cognitive abilities. But for me, as much as I am gaming, it's kind of a waste of time for me. For the part of the gaming, I'm only using MOBA games, that is massive online battle arena games, which are kind of a competitive games. But even though they are competitive games that can be played highly competitive in a manner online, and you can also use them to achieve money, I'm not doing so. I'm just casually playing the competitive game that involves a lot of time consuming stuff, and I have to read patch notes. I literally have to study the game in order to play it. And I'm not playing it competitively, even though I could, according to my skills. And I usually play it late at night when my friends are online because it's more fun with friends, and anything is boring when you're alone in life. Let's be obvious. And when I'm with my friends, I usually play all the games and stuff. I usually talk a lot, we chatter a lot. And that's the reason that why I'm not playing competitively, because I casually play to spend time with my friends. But unknowingly, I've been spending too much time into the games that it's not being very fruitful for me. The reason why I'm doing this is obviously first thing would be entertainment. Games are a very good source of entertainment as compared to movies and such. And one other factor that I'm quite ashamed of would be escapism. It's a form of escaping the reality and going into the virtual world where everything is butterflies and glitters and all those things. And these kind of form of like entertainment might seem like helpful at first sight, but later on, as you dwell deeper into it, it becomes a rabbit hole where you keep falling and falling and falling, and you further lose sight of reality. You lose sight of time. You start like ignoring your parents when they're calling you to go to sleep early, and then you wake up late, and the cross chain
Okay,
goes
time
on.
is up.
So usually, I would say it's a very unfruitful experience, and I would not
Alright.
recommend anyone to do it.
Thank you so much. So that is the end of part 2. Let me take you to part 3, where I would like to discuss a few questions based on part 2 topic only. What are the activities that people do regularly, whether they like or dislike them?
So a few other activities, according to me, might include watching movies and stuff, and going out with their friends. So why they would like or dislike these things? Sometimes one succumb to the peer pressure around them, and they would have to go to a certain place even if they don't want to, because they don't want their friends to think ill of them. And as for the movies and games, sometimes you need to keep up with the trend in today's world. So you have to spend your time even if though you don't want to, just so you don't fall behind in the daily data of like whatever your friends watch and stuff.
Okay. What should people do to make regular activities like vacuuming or washing clothes interesting?
What I usually do is I play music alongside when I'm doing any household chores, including washing clothes, doing laundry, and vacuuming the house. So why I do this? Because initially, when I started doing like household chores, it became a really like a nuisance to me. It was really boring. But when I'm listening to music, you start doing things in a certain rhythm, and that makes things far more interesting as compared to doing them on their own.
So you mean to say that people can adapt interesting part of this by making them entertained while doing such
Yes.
household chores,
Yes,
right?
if you're getting entertained from a second source while doing the primary task, you can still make the primary task far more entertaining.
Okay. Why do people feel so much stress? Is it a good thing?
Obviously, stress is never a good thing for someone. Why do people feel stressed? Well, the most common example would be workload. In today's date, like you have to work quite a lot in order to stay in the competitive part of the market. If you don't do that, you start falling behind, and incidentally, you might even lose your job just because you are not as competitive as your co-workers. That includes like getting more stress in your daily life.
Right. When do people feel stressed? Any idea?
People do feel stressed when they are like doing some like work, and then they realize that their work is not up to the point. So then they start panicking, and they have to like start doing more work, and the stress develops, and the whole cycle just snowballs further.
Okay. The last question is, there are people who believe that some stress is good for them. What's your opinion?
My opinion on this take would be, up to a certain point, stress can help. It helps you like be competitive. It helps you know that you have to be on the clock. You have to like finish the project up to a certain deadline. That kind of stress is fine, because you don't want to like waste time, be lazy, and procrastinate. Stress up to certain point, the stress helps in doing that. But after that point, it's really harmful for your health.
Okay, that is the end of speaking test. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Some strength area and the weakness area. I should be pointing out. The strength area is that when you speak, you show the variety of grammatical structures with complex sentences and by using different phrases that comes naturally and that are mostly spoken by the native speaker of English language, which is the best part, and it takes you to around band 9. You have got ideas. There is no issue that you get problem in generating ideas and thoughts, and you show that you are able to or willing to speak at length, which is again a good sight. um, the only thing is with the pitch. If I talk about the areas that you are supposed to remember, the points that you should be remembering where you can work is the pitch. Raise a pitch a little bit and try to give more modulation to your voice with the expressions. Sometimes it goes flat, otherwise it is fine. It should not be like you're talking to a computer or a robot. So it should have some expressions, though it comes, but maybe the pitch is too low, so it is not very much clear to the listeners. And you spoke you many times. When you speak you in your answer, you are indicating the examiner. If they are, even if they are asking about you, you are pointing them you. So it is not the good sign. So as of now, these are the areas for improvement. Otherwise, if
Was my pitch low this time as well?
this time it was okay because it was being recorded. So you were speaking, you have given your best. I can see it, and I can compare with the performance that you give in the class normally. But here it was around band 8 to 8.5. You can score currently as per your current status. All right. Thank you so much.